Hi, welcome to the second lesson of the quadratic equation course. Today, we're going to do factorizing quadratic expressions. Our learning objectives. The learning objective is factorizing quadratic expressions, how to factorize quadratic expressions. So let's start. Okay, before we start factorizing, in the previous lesson, we have learned how to expand double brackets. I got here 3 questions for you to try. I want you to stop the video and expand those 3 questions. Well, I think you have tried. So if you've done well, this is what you got in the first one. X squared plus 5x plus 6. The second one will give you this. And the third one will give you this. Let us stop here and look at this and compare this one. If you look here, this number here, where it come from? Now, it comes from this number times this number. If you multiply those two last numbers, you got 6. Is that the case for this one? Yes, because 5 times 7 gives you 35. What about here? Minus 8 times 3 gives you minus 24. So the last number of this expression is always the last two number of the brackets multiplied together. What about the middle number? I got here 5. And the two numbers that I had was 3 and 2. Look, if you add them, it gives you 5. So the middle number here is addition of those two numbers. It is the case here? Yes, it is. 5 add 7 is 12. What about minus 5? That's minus 8 plus 3 is minus 5. So the last number is the multiplication of those two numbers. The middle number is just the addition of those two numbers. Okay? By just looking this, the expression and the brackets, you can identify easily which expression belongs to which bracket. And that is what you are going to do in the next slide. Now, what I want you to do, I want you to stop the video and match them. Okay, I think you have tried, so let's do it together. Now, this one belongs to this one. Why? Because minus 9 times 2, the last two numbers multiplied together, gives you minus 18. And those two numbers added together gives you minus 7. So this expression and this double bracket, they belong to each other. Here I go x minus 5. Gives you that. Add them, gives you this middle number. So this expression and this double bracket belongs to each other. Those two, again 7 times 2 is 14. 7 add 2 is 9. Here we are. 4 minus 2 is minus, plus minus 2 is 2. Okay? This number is x minus 3 in a bracket times x minus 3 in another bracket. If you do that, you got minus 3 at the end of this bracket. And then you got minus 3 here. Minus 3 times minus 3 gives you plus 9. And if you add them, you got 6. This one belongs to this one, the same reason. And the last one belongs to this one. Very strange. We got only 2 terms here. Why? 7 times minus 7 is minus 49. No question about that. But you know 7 add minus 7, that's 0. That's why we don't have the middle term. So actually this is what you need to do. Okay? How is this going to help us when we are factorizing? Let us take some examples now. This is what I got. And I need to factorize. Okay. So factorizing simply means getting brackets back. So the first bracket I got x. And the second bracket I got x. I always start with x's. That's where that x squared comes from. Now to get the two numbers here, I need to get two numbers. When I times them gives me 2. There's only 2 numbers to be honest with you. When I add them gives me 3. The two numbers when I times them gives me 2 is 2 and 1. Okay? When I add them together, do they give me 3? Yes, 1 add 2 gives me 3. So those are the two numbers. We factorize our expression. So that's the first example of factorizing quadratic expressions that we have done together. Okay, let me take another example now. Here we are. Okay, so open a bracket, write down x, open another bracket, write down x. Two numbers, when you times them, gives you 14. When you add them, gives you 9. Those two numbers are 2 and 7. So 2 there and 7. It doesn't matter the order. Okay? Because if you times two numbers, the order doesn't matter. Two numbers, when I times them, gives me 20 plus 20. And when I add them, gives me 9. What do you think those two numbers are? Add them, gives you 9. Times them, gives you 20. That's 4 and 5. Fine. Another one here. How do we do this? This we look the two terms, and the two terms, they go one thing in common. And that's x. So let's take that x out. So it's not a real double bracket, this one. That's where we end up. And if you times them, you get that one back. By the way, if you times this, you get that one back as well. I got here 4 questions for you to try. I want you to stop the video and try now. Okay, I think you have tried, so let's do it together. This one, two numbers. When I times them, gives me 4. When I add them, gives me 5. Two numbers that gives you 4 and 5 are 4 and 1. Okay, add them together is 5. Times them together is 4. Two numbers. When I times them, gives me minus 20. When I add them, gives me minus 1. They need to be two consecutive numbers. And they must have a different sign. Because when you times them, they gives you minus. Two consecutive number, when you times them, gives you 20. That's 5 and 4. And 5 must be minus. Because when you add them, you got minus here. Two numbers, when I times them, gives me minus 35. And when I add them, gives me 2. There must be two numbers which actually are, two numbers are between them. Okay, so 35. The two numbers are 7 and 5. Which one is positive? The bigger one is positive because we got here plus. So we got 7 there and we got minus 5 here. This is the same as we have seen in the example. So we got x minus 7. That's the end of this lesson. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoy with it. There's a worksheet that goes with it. Make sure that you complete the worksheet and please use the answer sheet to mark your work. Thanks again and see you in the next lesson.